Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. And today we're doing something a little different today. Now, as you guys have been seeing for the past few, I don't know, it's 4 days, I've been posting diss tracks about bad YouTubers. And yeah, so I just wanted to take a break from that for a little bit, and I want to do something a little different. So in this video, as you guys can see by the title, I'm going to be ranking every movie that Pixar has ever made. And yes, as I've watched every single Pixar movie, it took a long time to research for this video. So I had to watch every movie, I had to watch all the shorts for the lore, and I had to do a final tier list. And this isn't going to be a tier list because I already made the tier list right here. I'm just going to go from worst to best and see which one are the greats and which ones suck. So without further ado, let's jump on in. Alright guys, now this movie in last place is probably my least favorite animated movie ever. I'm not kidding. And this movie is Cars 2. Cars 2 is so awful, so bad in so many ways. It's just horrendous from start to finish. Me, I love the original Cars movie. It's one of my favorites in the Pixar catalog. The Cars 2 is a disgrace to humanity. It is it just makes me mad. Its existence makes me futile. Every time I watch this movie, I think, why does it exist? Cars should have just ended where it is. There shouldn't have been a Cars 2, there shouldn't have been a Cars 3, and they're probably going to make a Cars 4. Please, Pixar, if you're watching this, there's like a 0% chance that you are, but please don't make a Cars 4. Please. We've had enough Cars. Anyway, now, on to the bad things about this movie. It's boring, it's dull, every character in the movie is stupid, and yeah, that's about it. It came out in, I think, 2011. It was, at its time, the time it came out was the worst time for Pixar, because they were just missing completely. First of all, we had Cars 2, which is, ugh. Then there was The Good Dinosaur, which was, ugh. Then there was Brave, which was also, ugh. But then they kicked it back up with Monsters University and Inside Out and so on and so forth. Alright, back to the main focus. Cars 2. The story, so the first movie was about a car who, his name's Lightning McQueen. He starts racing, and then he goes to this old country town in the middle of, I think, Arizona, Route 66. And, yeah, he meets a lot of friends, stuff like that. It's an old abandoned town, and, yeah, then he gets back to racing. The second movie, about spy cars. Not racing, not any, well, a little bit of racing, but spy cars. Like a 007 James Bond movie. Like, even the third movie had racing in it. Like, it was the main focus of the third movie. The second movie is just bad, boring, dull, uninteresting, and it just should not exist. One of the worst animated movies I've ever seen. Pixar, do better. I mean, look, the newer days, like today, they've definitely kept up their game with these movies, but Cars 2, this is just a disgrace. Alright, next movie. Alright, guys. The next movie is called The Good Dinosaur. Sorry, I just had a Coca-Cola. The Good Dinosaur is complete garbage. It's boring. The story doesn't make any sense. The characters are all annoying. It's just so stupid and boring. It was a chore to get the Good Dinosaur. Even the logo is boring. The logo for the movie is boring. I don't think I could say that for any other Pixar movie. All the other movies at least have a good logo. The Good Dinosaur looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint. It's just so bad. It's so boring. So, it's about this dinosaur named Arlo, who meets this, boy who's, a dog, and it's, so stupid. Like I said earlier, this was the time in Pixar's, years where it was, Cars 2, Good Dinosaur, or actually, wait, no, it was Cars 2, Brave, and Good Dinosaur. All those three movies, garbage. Good Dinosaur is, the middle of all of them. It's like a 2 out of 10 movie. It's so boring, so basic. Any animation studio can make this. Even Illumination could make this. Which I might make an Illumination ranking video very soon. Anyway, yeah, about The Good Dinosaur. It's bad, it's fake, I wish it didn't exist. I know the whole production hell. It used to have a new, different script, and it was, tossed around by different directors, and it's bad. It's just bad. I don't like it. Alright, guys, next movie. So, it has come to this. Brave. This movie is probably the most mid movie I've ever seen out of a Disney movie. Yes, Disney and Pixar. Like the entire Walt Disney Corporation. That includes Disney, Pixar, Disney Channel, stuff like that. It is that boring, that mid, that stupid. It's a Disney princess movie, but it's a Pixar movie. What is this movie's problem? It's so boring and basic, and we don't need it. Like, it's just, this movie, Brave, gets me angry every time I watch it. It just angers me on how bad it is. It's just so horrendous and awful, and the storytelling, and the one and only good thing that this movie the only good thing about this movie is the animation. That's it. Nothing else is good. The story is boring. The characters are boring. It's just a slog to get through. Brave is like a 3 out of 10. And yeah, I mean, there's only 2 Pixar movies that are worse than Brave, which, I mean, come on. Look, I mean, Pixar, you can do better than this. But we got those 3 horrid abominations out of the way. Now we get into the movies that are they're just boring. I mean, they're either boring or just not interesting at all, which is kind of like the next movie. I think in the entire Toy Story franchise, none of the movies are bad. Toy Story 1 is great. Toy Story 2 is even better. Toy Story 3 is great. And Toy Story 4 is okay. Lightyear is the most boring movie I probably have ever seen in my life. It is so monotonous and dull and annoying that, oh my gosh, the villain is terrible. The story is terrible. Apparently, in the Toy Story lore, this is the movie that made Andy buy the Buzz Lightyear toy in the first movie. This Lightyear is just, it was one of the directed Disney Plus movies, which I think the directed Disney Plus movies were Lightyear, Turning Red, and Luca, and Soul. Those are the 4, because of, COVID and all that. But Lightyear is easily the worst out of all of them. Lightyear is so bad and so boring and so dull that it's just, the characters are annoying. Why did they make Buzz Lightyear a man? Like, why? Like, this movie angers me so much. I just can't talk about it anymore for the next 5 seconds. Alright, the next movie I'm going to talk about isn't horrible. It's just, I didn't really have a lot to say about it. Alright, guys, the next movie, we're going to China because the next movie is Turning Red. It was another one of the Disney Plus movies, straight to Disney Plus movies because of COVID. And it wasn't that good. It wasn't horrible. The story was fine. The characters were decent. The one part of this movie that makes me angry, just flat out angry, and why I put this so low, is the scene near the end where the red panda starts twerking at the mom. And why? It's just so boring. I mean, it's fine. The animation is really good. I mean, the director was the same director, I think, as that short Bow, that Pixar short. It was alright. Definitely cool. It's cool that we get to see other cultures besides just, America. Like we got Italian culture in Luca, Spanish culture in Coco, Italian culture in Wait, did I already say whatever. It's just, Turning Red is so mid and so boring. I mean, it's not horrendously awful. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's whatever. But there are so many better Pixar movies than Turning Red. Next movie. Alright, this next movie is pretty recent. Elemental. First off, the name. That might be the worst Pixar name in the entire Pixar catalog. It is so bad, that name. Elemental. Why couldn't you just say, like, sorry. I had a Coca-Cola, I think I already said that. Why couldn't you just call it something like Fire and Water? Or something simpler than freaking... Elemental's just a bad name. Kinda like the movie. It's bad. It's boring. The jokes in the trailer are probably the worst jokes I've ever heard out of any animated movie in my life. Earth can get a little seedy. Like, the characters are fine. The story is fine. I mean, I didn't really hate it. It was just mid, boring, stupid, and I'm sorry, I didn't like it. It's like a 6 out of 10. It was painfully mid for its time. They were hyping it up to be this, like, awesome movie. Kind of like Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate, which I might make a video on a later date. But, yeah, I mean, Elemental, you're not really going to find any much enjoyment out of this movie. Kind of like I did. Next movie is the second sequel on the list. Alright, so this next movie is The Incredibles 2. This might make people mad, but I did not really care for the original Incredibles movie. Now, I know a lot of people love that movie, saying it's the best Pixar movie of all time, saying it's number one, awesome. I'm sorry, I just can't like it. I'm sorry. I tried it. I really tried it. Well, I mean, obviously, I had to watch every Pixar movie for this ranking, but... I mean, The Incredibles 2 is definitely worse than the original. It was definitely a disappointment because I did think the original was pretty good. I mean, it's definitely overrated, but it was still pretty good. But, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I got the tier list right in front of me. I'm just going to change one thing really quick. Let's see. Okay, that's good. Alright, so yeah. I mean, The Incredibles 2's... the twist villain is not very interesting. A lot of this movie relies on just weird, like, 50s humor. I mean, it was a fine movie. It was like boring. It wasn't that good. I mean, it was painfully average. I'll say that. It was just boring and average. Like, they could have done something so cool with the concept for a sequel to The Incredibles. And I know at the D23 Expo, they released an announcement that said that they were making an Incredibles 3, which... The Incredibles 2 had so much potential because the original is a pretty good story. I mean, sorry, I've been talking for a lot. There's like mucus in my mouth. Anyway, like, I mean, they had so much potential for a second Incredibles movie because the concept of a family of superheroes is so cool, but they just made it boring and bad and unfunny, and I cannot stress enough how much missed potential The Incredibles 2 had. But yeah, that's The Incredibles 2. Next movie. Onward, Theo Shivar, in the wise words of Mabel from Gravity Falls. But anyway, Onward. I didn't really like it. I'm sorry. It was just. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's about two brothers going on a quest to save their father. Great premise. Horrible execution. Like, the story is so good, but they just made it, like, unfunny and boring and just, like, the whole, like, Dungeons and Dragons elf magical world is so cool, but they just had so much missed potential here. Like, that's such a cool premise. But, I don't know, man. And I can't really relate to it that much because I don't have a brother. But, I mean, it's just fine. I mean, I didn't really like it that much. A lot of people I've heard say that this movie is really good. I'm not one of those people. This movie is just... It's just... That's all I have to say. It's 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 just the definition of It's But yeah, this movie makes me angry every time I watch it because it is So much missed potential. But anyway, next movie. Next up is the third direct-to-Disney Plus movie that we have on the list. And that would be Luca. This one I actually liked pretty much. So on the tier list I have up here, this is the first movie in the B tier. So from Luca and beyond is going to be really, really good movies. Well, kind of. Some of them, maybe. But we'll get back into that. Luca is really, really good animation. Really, really decent story. And it's good. Like, two friends, summer, Italy, 50s. I mean, that ending scene where the guy is on the bike and the lightning strikes him while he's holding the spear, that was really, really good. But the rest of this movie just drags on. There's a lot of filler. And yeah, it's definitely rewatchable, and I had a decent enough time with it, but I don't know, man. It's just not that great. It's okay. It's not horrendous, but it's not bad. Or it's not good. It's definitely not good. But it's not bad. All right, next movie. Rev up your engines because the next movie is Cars 3. I remember when I was a little young when I was younger, I saw this movie in the theaters, and the sheer amount of disappointment in my eyes. This movie, same with The Incredibles 2, had so much missed potential. Cars 1 is the Cars duology. I'm not including Cars 2 because that Cars movie deserves to rot in hell, but look, Cars 3 had so much missed potential. I mean, it was gonna be so good, but they had to ruin it, of course. Look, it's not horrendous. I think the character of Cruz Ramirez is annoying. I think Jackson Storm is a fine villain. Lightning McQueen is fine. Everybody in this movie is basically fine. It's just a fine movie. It's alright. It was decent enough animation. That probably the best animation out of the Cars franchise, but it's okay. I mean, I'd definitely rewatch it. It's not bad. I really like the setting, the whole, like, the Miami setting at the end, and then also the whole Doc Hudson thing. I like that stuff. That was pretty okay. But the rest of this movie isn't horrible. There's a lot of filler, kind of like in Luca, but it's not horrendous, thank goodness. So, next movie. You got a friend in me because the next movie is Toy Story 4. This one, in my opinion, is definitely the worst out of the Toy Story franchise, besides Lightyear. And, I don't know. I think the entire Toy Story franchise should have just ended at Toy Story 3. They didn't need to make a Toy Story 4. They don't need to make a Toy Story 5. It's all for the green, the money. But Toy Story 4 is horrendous, thank goodness. The story is okay. The whole Bonnie going on like a camping trip, Forky, it was okay. I don't know. Wait, did I see Toy Story 4 in theaters? I'm trying to think. I think Toy Story 4 was 2019. So let me just think really quick. Brainstorm. Did I see this in the theaters? I remember I saw Onward in theaters. Here, I think I'll just list all the movies I saw in theaters. I saw Inside Out in theaters. I'm just looking at the list right now. I saw, I think, Toy Story 4, Cars 3, and was that it? Really? Oh wait, no, I think that was it. But yeah, anyway. Toy Story 4 is not bad. Not as good as Toy Story 3, not as amazing as Toy Story 2, not as good as Toy Story 1. It's just okay. It's okay. It's an okay movie, an okay story. The characters are likable enough, and I didn't have a horrible time watching it. Unlike other movies on this list. Cars 2. Anyway, yeah. On to the next movie. Alright, the next movie on this list is Finding Dory. I mean, I think it was a pretty good sequel. And it was a good sequel. Not a very good movie, but a good sequel. It's like a 7 out of 10. I do really like the parts like at the end where Dory has to find her parents. Yeah, it was just really sweet and wholesome. Hank is a really cool character. Marlin and Nemo don't really have a major part in this movie. It was all really focused on Dory. And if they ever do make a third Finding Nemo movie, please. A lot of people say that they want a Finding Nemo 3 where it would be called Finding Marlin, but why? Like, in the first movie, Marlin finds Nemo. In the second movie, Marlin and Nemo team up to find Dory. Then what? Dory and Nemo can't go find Marlin because Dory has short-term memory loss. I mean, as much as I like the Finding Nemo series, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know if Finding Dory is really good or really bad, or it's like middle of the road. It's middle of the road. It's fine. It's okay. It's not horrendous. Next movie. I went to college. Because the next one is Monsters University. I love the original Monsters, Inc. movie. It is so funny, so awesome, so incredible that it's amazing. But then Monsters University exists, and it's an okay prequel. The characters are likable. I really like the college setting, like the whole university. The dean is an okay character. The scare games is really fun. The side characters are also really fun. Sorry for the constant amount of burping in this movie. In this video. But yeah, anyway, Monsters University. It was pretty good. It was definitely a breath of fresh air from freaking Cars 2, Brave, and The Good Dinosaur. But yeah, Monsters University is pretty fun. Definitely not as good as the original, but it's still pretty solid, pretty good. The story is they have to win the scare games because they made a bet with Mike and Sully made a bet with the dean that if they don't win the scare games, they don't get accepted back into the college. And so they win the scare games, but spoiler alert, at the end of the scare games, Sully actually sabotaged and he cheated. So they both get kicked out of Monsters University and they go get their own career and they go to Monsters Inc., which I think is a really, really, really good story. Monsters University is really good, and I cannot stress enough how underrated it is. You guys are missing out. Go watch it. Why are you not watching it right now? Click off this video and watch Monsters University. Click off now. No, I'm kidding. Also, guys, a sub and a like would also be pretty appreciated. Thank you very much. Anyway, next movie. All right, this next movie is really old. I think it's the second Pixar movie ever made. And this is one of the only ones I actually have the DVD for. It is the 2-disc set, A Bug's Life. This movie is not bad. It's pretty good. The character Flick is a pretty decent protagonist. The German caterpillar is really funny. He's basically Mater, but I guess funnier. Yeah, all the characters in A Bug's Life are pretty cool. Here's the back. Oh, it's one of these. And then here's the inside. There's disc 1. And then there's disc 2 with all the bonus features. Hopper is probably one of my favorite Pixar antagonists. Or protagonists. Or wait. No, hold on. Wait, antagonist is the person you're... No, protagonist. Yeah, protagonist. And, yeah, I think, A Bug's Life is a pretty good movie. It's not horrible. It's just, there's not a lot to say about it. I used to watch that movie religiously. It was, I cannot stress enough how nostalgic this movie is. And, yeah, it was pretty good. The movie that came after this one, Toy Story 2, is one of my absolute favorites ever. But we'll get to that later. Next movie. It's good for your soul. Because the next movie is Soul, the fourth and final direct-to-Disney Plus movie that I have on the list. Soul is... It's fine. It's not horrendous. I like the character of Joe Gardner. He's pretty cool. The cat is also really cool. I like the cat. I like cats. You know what? I'm just going to say it right here and right now in this video. I think this is the best time to say it. Cats are better than dogs. There, I said it. I don't care. I don't care what you think. Go spam the comments saying, oh, dogs are better than cats. Oh, I don't care. I will stand by it. Cats are better than dogs, and I will stand by that until the day I die. Hey, actually, that kind of reminds me of the movie I'm talking about. Soul. It's pretty good. So the character Joe falls down a manhole. His soul basically leaves his body. Hold on. It's kind of like that one episode of The Amazing World of Gumball with the Halloween. I just noticed that. Anyway, that's not related. So his soul leaves his body. They go into the soul world where there's a bunch of, you guessed it, cars. No, I'm kidding. Emotions. No, I'm kidding. Toys. No, I'll stop joking. There was a bunch of souls, and then there's a soul named 22 who accidentally drives back into the real world, and so 22 ends up in Joe's body, and Joe ends up in a cat's body. Hold on, wait a minute. This is kind of like that one episode of The Amazing World of Gumball. I just realized that. But that's off topic. Yeah, this movie is fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was okay. Definitely pretty good for its time. Next movie. Alright, this next movie is a sequel to a really, really good movie. And it literally just came out. Inside Out 2. Spin that chair around, spin that chair around, spin that chair around. Inside Out 2. It's pretty good. It was definitely not as good as the original. The original, in my opinion, is really good. Actually, on my tier list, I have Inside Out 2 from On are really good movies. So yeah, Inside Out 2 is surprisingly pretty good. Like, I like the new characters, the new emotions were pretty cool. Embarrassment, ennui, and envy, who didn't really get a lot of screen time. But then anxiety was the real star of the show. Definitely a great, great movie overall. Not as good as the original, as I said. The characters, once again, they have to go out of the headquarters again. Then they got to go back to headquarters again. But it is actually pretty interesting. Like, there's definitely a bigger conflict here. They go to a bunch of new places that weren't just in the original. Like, there were like, in the original movie, there were these places that were really wacky, weird. And then in the second movie, we see all those places being torn down. Which I think is because Riley's getting older. And that is what I call character development. This movie shows character development really well. And I think it was a really, really, really good sequel. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm looking at my list right now, and holy cow, there's only 3 sequels that are here that are from the A tier and beyond. And yeah, Inside Out 2, very good movie. Next movie. Hold on, wait a minute. Actually, I have an idea. Remember how A Bug's Life I had the DVD for? Well, I have the DVD for The Incredibles for some reason. And yeah, I think this movie is really good. Definitely a really cool story. I love the whole thing with the family of superheroes. Definitely really cool. I wish the sequel was better. This, as again, I keep saying it, but this franchise has so much good potential. Here we go. So we got the first DVD with the movie, and then we got this, which is pretty cool artwork. And then we got the second DVD, which is just like bonus features and stuff. We got Jack Attack. I had to watch that short, and it was probably one of my least favorite shorts. I didn't like it. But yeah, this movie is surprisingly really good. Like, it was enjoyable, it was fun. And yeah, I just think overall it was a really, really strong, really nice, really touching, emotional movie. And yeah, I mean, a family of superheroes is such a cool concept. The Incredibles handles it very well. Frozone's pretty cool. Edna Mode is also pretty cool. And we got Bob, he's pretty cool. We got Jack, who's annoying. Elastigirl. No, I'm kidding. Weirdos. We got Violet and Dash. And yeah, I just think this movie's really good, really fun. And yeah, I think this is definitely the most fun Pixar movie. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at my thing right now. Oh, no, sorry. There's definitely more fun movies. But this one, it's fun. It's really good. Next movie on the list. Coco. Oh my goodness, Coco. This movie is so good. Coco is really, really emotional. The animation is top notch. This movie was made in 2017. 2017. As of the time I'm recording this, it is August 14th, 2024. Wait, is it the 14th? Yeah, it's the 14th. August 14th, 2024. And this movie came out in 2017, so 2017, 18, 19, 7 years. It has been 7 years. And I think, and yes, I think I'm going to be real with you. I think The Incredibles has the second best animation out of any Pixar movie. There's definitely one movie that has better animation and is also in my top 5. Actually, top 3, but yeah, about Coco. Coco is really good. The ending is probably one of the best in the entirety of Pixar. It's so good. The character of Miguel is really cool. Hector is really funny. All the skeleton people are really cool. The comedy in this movie is really good. And the story is just really, really, really good. Coco's Coco. It's a great movie. It's just incredible from start to finish. It is just a wild movie. It is fun, endearing, awesome, and it's just so good. And yeah, definitely one of the greatest Pixar movies. But since we said Coco, now we are entering the top 10 movies, Pixar movies. Ooh. Now these movies are very, very good movies. From all my top 10 are definitely 8 out of 10s and above. These movies that I'm going to talk about are just amazing. All right, next movie, number 10. At number 10, we have Finding Nemo. Hold that thought. Yeah. I have the DVD for Finding Nemo too. Oh, wait, Finding Nemo 2? Well, the other kind of 2. And, yeah, I think this is a really, really, really good movie. All the characters are likable. Marlin's really cool. This turtle is also really cool. The Ellen DeGeneres Dory fish is pretty cool. The only reason I'm saying that is because I was on the Ellen show. And, yeah, the characters are pretty fun. I really like the pelican. He's probably my favorite character. Darla is Look, as much as I love this movie, Darla is probably one of the least interesting Pixar villains. I mean, she's fine. I mean, she's not horrendously awful, but yeah, definitely could have been better. And for some reason, for the DVD, the movie is actually on disc 2, and which is weird because that's the only disc I have. I only have disc 2. I don't have disc 1, which is weird. We got the scene selection, which I mean is pretty useless. And yeah, I think this movie is really good, really fun. This is the 2-disc collector's edition, and yeah, honestly, Finding Nemo is amazing. Definitely one of my favorite fish animated movies. On to the next movie. You get a friend in me. Because this next movie is Toy Story the OG. 10th anniversary edition. Ooh. But yeah, Toy Story 1 is really good. I love this movie. I adore it. It's so fun. It's just great from start to finish. Mr. Potato Head is probably one of my favorite characters in all of Pixar history. It's just a great story, great message, great characters, great animation. Surprisingly good animation for what was this, 1995, I think? Yeah, 1995. And this is actually the 10th year anniversary, so this one came out in 2005. And yeah, this movie is so, so good. I can't think of any better movie about toys, and then animated movie about toys being better than this. Well, I mean, there is that one movie called Toys in the Attic, which is basically a ripoff. But whatever. Yeah, this is the 2-disc set. A lot of these are 2-disc. So we got this really old. What the heck is this? Really Adventure Home? I never even realized this. Hold on. Look at this. So I was just looking through the DVD, the box, and look at this. Or wait, no. Here, look. We got this thing right here. Bro, Buzz is taking a selfie in 2005. Dang. Bring the adventure home. Oh, that's cool. It has like some merchandise. It's pretty old. It's pretty cool though. Let's see. We got the DVD guide, which I don't really think anybody cares about, and we got this thing. But yeah, Toy Story 1, so good. But there are definitely better movies, like Inside Out is definitely a really, really good movie. I really, really love Inside Out. I think this and WALL-E were the only two movies that I watched in the Pixar catalog that I actually cried at. Inside Out, the ending for Inside Out is just, it was so good. This movie is so good. I guess you could say this movie is pretty emotional. No? Okay. Yeah, this movie is just amazing from start to finish. Definitely one of Pixar's all-time best. I can't think of another movie that's better than Inside Out 2, actually. Wait, I can. But yeah. Absolute top-tier movie. Highly would recommend it. The story is amazing. The characters are amazing. It's really funny. Like, I don't really hear a lot of people say, but this movie is really funny. Like, the characters are awesome. The characters are also very funny. The whole Riley story arc is really cool. Really sad and emotional. And, yeah. This movie is so good. And, yeah, I don't really have too much to say about Inside Out that I haven't really already said in Inside Out 2. But, yeah, I think this movie is really good, really emotional, and really good for 2015. Sorry. And, yeah, this is actually one of the movies I saw in the movie theaters. And, yeah, next movie, I guess. Okay, I should really stop with those. Put her there, partner, because the next movie is Toy Story 3. This movie is... Look, if Toy Story 4 has never been made... Here, look, listen. If Toy Story 4 was never made, Toy Story 3 would easily be in my top 5. Toy Story 3 is so good. Toy Story 3 is just amazing. The story is awesome. The whole prison break thing is amazing. Lotso, the Huggin' Bear, is one of my favorite Pixar antagonists. And, yeah, I mean, this movie's just great. There's not really anything too horrible about it. Come on. This movie is just so good. I mean, not a lot of people talk about this movie because everybody says, oh, it's not that good. I don't care. If you say this movie is bad, screw you. I don't care. I like this movie. I will defend this movie. Toy Story 3 is up there for one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. Almost in the top 5. Really close. But yeah, Toy Story 3 is so good. The ending where Woody's like, so long, partner, as Andy drives away, like, oh my god, bro. That scene still gives me goosebumps to this day. Like, I don't know what else to say. Toy Story 3 is just amazing. Yeah. I mean, what else haven't I said about this movie? It's amazing, sweet. I love the stuff. And yeah, it's just an awesome movie. Next one! I cannot stress enough on how amazing this movie is. This movie is top tier. This movie feels like it just feels like a great, awesome, amazing movie. Pete Docter really knocked it out of the park with this. I mean, Carl's really, I really feel bad for him because, you know, the whole death of Ellie thing. Doug is really funny. Kevin was also pretty funny. But the real star of the show here was definitely Russell. Russell was really funny. And a lot of people say that this movie isn't as good and it only peaks in the first 15 minutes, which I don't think so. The first 15 minutes are amazing. And so is the whole rest of the movie. This movie is just top tier, awesome, spectacular. Even the whole Doug show that was on Disney Plus was fine. Like, there's genuinely nothing bad about this. There's genuinely nothing bad about the Up franchise. Up is just an amazing movie. Top tier actors, top tier writing, top tier story. Just, I can't stress enough on how much I love this movie. But there are still 5 movies that I think are better. Which means we're making it into the top 5. God, why do I do these things? But yeah, top 5. Monsters, Inc. I can't stress enough how much I love this movie. This movie is so good. It embodies everything good about Pixar. Every single thing good. The story is amazing. The characters are amazing. Billy Crystal and John Goodman are just amazing actors. Mike Wazowski is really awesome. Sully is really cool. Randall is one of the best Pixar antagonists. And yeah. I think Waternoose is a little bit of a better villain than Randall. Yeah. This movie is just... It's so good. I cannot stress enough how good this movie is. Like, it is genuinely such a great movie. Such an awesome, stellar, fantastic movie. But, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? It's Monsters, Inc. This movie is beyond amazing. It soars. This movie, I mean, I don't even know what else there is to say. This movie is... I genuinely have no words on how good this movie is. It is so good in so many ways. This movie... Please, Pixar, please do not make a third movie. Monsters University was good, but please, please, please don't do like a freaking, the classic movie trope where the third movie is definitely the worst. This movie is amazing, and I can't stress enough on how good it is. But there's still 4 movies that I think are just a little better. Time to talk about the best Pixar sequel. Toy Story 2. Now, I don't have the DVD for this movie, so yeah. Which now, we're in the top 4. Toy Story 2 is just so good. Toy Story 2 is everything good about the Toy Story franchise. It's just amazing. Top tier Pixar movie. It's just, what else could you say? Toy Story 2 is so good. It talks about so many interesting topics, and it's just a riot. It's so good. I cannot stress enough on how much better this movie is than the other Toy Story movies. This movie, 9 out of 10. It was so close to being a 10 out of 10. So close. Like, really close. But there's literally one bad thing about this movie. One. Do you want to know what that is? Stinky Pete. I hate Sneaky Pete. I'm sorry. I just why? One of the worst characters in the Toy Story franchise. I'm sorry. Look, Toy Story 2 might be the absolute best in the franchise, but definitely, Sneaky Pete is the worst villain in the entire Toy Story franchise. And yes, that is my opinion. Don't go after me. Don't say that I'm stupid. You're stupid if you think he's better than what I'm saying he is. But yeah, Toy Story 2 is just, it's so good. I don't even know what else to say. Toy Story 2 is amazing, incredible, awesome. There's literally nothing else to say about this movie. It's so good. But now that we're done with Toy Story 2, we are in the top 3 movies, which I think are all 10 out of 10s. These 3 movies are all 10 out of 10s. All 3 of them are amazing in their own ways. But, on to the next movie. WALL-E is number 3. Look, this movie is, I cannot describe how good this movie is. This movie is top tier. 10 out of 10, amazing, phenomenal, just a work of art. Like, seriously, like, this is a masterpiece. A genuine work of art is WALL-E is. WALL-E is, oh my God. This was almost my favorite Pixar movie of all time. It is that good. WALL-E is probably my favorite Pixar protagonist. Eve is a really good love interest for WALL-E. Bernie is really funny. The captain is also really funny. The autopilot, a lot of people say, is really, like, annoying and stuff. And he's probably the worst twist villain. But I'm here to say that I don't think so. I'm sorry. It's so good. Go watch this movie right now. This movie is, I guess you could say, it's interstellar. That was probably the worst joke I've made in this video so far. But it's a great love story. It's a great sci-fi movie. It's just a great movie. It is a genuine work of art, and I think that everybody and their dead grandmother should see this movie. This movie, I can't stress enough on how good this movie is. Next. Now, I think that WALL-E and Toy Story 2 are really great animated Pixar movies. But I'm here to say, and this might get people mad, I'm sorry. To people, I just think Cars is better. I'm sorry. I think Cars is one of the best Pixar movies of all time. I love Cars. It is number 2 because it is just so good. I mean, what else could you want? This movie is just amazing from start to finish. Oh, hey, that's kind of like the racing thing. But yeah, this movie is just amazing. It's so good. The first time I watched this was when I was like 2. I was obsessed with this movie when I was a baby. I collected all the little cars. I watched this movie 24/7. It's just such a good movie. It's quotable. I could probably name every single line in this movie. It's that quotable. This movie is an easy 10 out of 10, and And yes, this is going to get people mad because I said Cars is better than WALL-E and Toy Story 2. But frankly, I don't care. It's just my opinion. A lot of people say that the Cars franchise is the worst franchise in Pixar's history. But no, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the best. I mean, I think the Toy Story franchise is a little better. But yeah, I'm sorry. Cars is just so good. And comparing Cars to the absolute piece of flying crap Cars 2 is just a miracle. Cars is so good, and I cannot stress enough how much you need to watch this movie right now. It is so underrated, so awesome, so unique, and yeah, there's nothing else to say. But there is one movie that I think is a little bit better. Now, we have reached number 1. The number 1 best Pixar movie out of the entire Pixar catalog is... Here, I'm actually going to twist the camera around. The best one is Ratatouille. Oh my God. Ratatouille is so phenomenal, so breathtaking. Ratatouille is one of those movies where I can say, it's an 11 out of 10. I don't care if I can go beyond 10. It is so good. The movie is just amazing. It's a work of art. Geniuses wrote Ratatouille. I cannot stress enough on how much I love Ratatouille. Ratatouille is just amazing. A great message about creativity. One of the best villains in Pixar history, Anton Ego. One of the best protagonists, Remy, friggin' Patton Oswalt. Linguini is really funny. This movie is really funny. And yes, I do have the DVD for it, but this is just a cover case. The disc is still in here, but... I think the best scene in Pixar history is in this movie. Because when Remy's going up that building and he sees that shot of the Eiffel Tower in like Paris, the night sky, is in my opinion the best scene in all of Pixar history. I'm sorry, I don't care. This movie is just... I don't know what else to say. It's so good! You watch it right now after you click off this video. Please watch it. This is such a good movie. Comparing this masterpiece work of art to that piece of crap Cars 2, which I already said in the last ranking, but yeah, there's no other words. Ratatouille is everything good about Pixar, and that is all I have to say about Ratatouille. Yeah, that was my Pixar ranking. It definitely took a long time to watch all the movies, but yeah. Here's my final tier list. Pixar made so many great movies, and they also made a few bad ones, but those bad ones led to the good ones. So yeah, I'm not too disappointed. I think definitely the earlier days of Pixar, like I'd say from the year 2000 to 2010, was definitely the best era for Pixar. Like they had stuff like Ratatouille, Cars, WALL-E, all those great movies. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you guys watched all the way to the end, please drop a like and subscribe. It would do really well. And yeah, I like actually doing movies or ranking videos like these, and I might do another one in the future. So yeah, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.